So I thought we'd go over the features of this. This is one I've built for somebody. There should be some more videos hopefully coming out soon of assembling the other one. We had a slight setback because the Hall effect sensors which I was sent were either not the type they were supposed to be when what I ordered, or they've just plain defective. So I had to change all the Hall sensors in this that I've done for someone, and I've got to do them all in the one I'm doing on video as well, which is a bit inconvenient because they're quite fiddly once you've put them in to change. But never mind. We'll go over a quick all of the features of this. So first you've got the mixture lever. Oh, is that not working? Why is this is frozen? Oh, there we go. Nope, that's just Windows being Windows. There we go. Right. So first you have the mixture lever. As it comes back, it'll hit a catch on here, which is just inside here, and you have to push it in and then move it down to put it off. So that prevents you from accidentally shutting your engine off, and then when you come to a stop on the taxiway, how you shut your engine off is to pull that full to idle. That was so you ran the fuel out of your engine, so if the ignition happened to be on or it didn't turn off and the engineers turned the engine, then it wouldn't accidentally fire any fuel in the engine and chop them up with the propeller. So next we have the propeller lever, a fairly simple lever. It has this catch which engages and only works one way as original with the throttle when engaged. So it'll go up with the throttle but won't come back down. You can disengage it just by pushing in the part there. Then we have the throttle. You've got your twist for changing the gun sight. The throttle arm will come up to its stop here, which I'd recommend you set about 90%, as that's usually in most games where they set the sort of max power before whatever kind of boost you're going to have. So you just push that over, you can slide that over, it'll come up, and then it's on a spring return so it comes back. You've got your boost control here, this, and your microphone button. The boost control, there is a switch hidden just round the front here. You flick that switch over, the boost will change from, we'll see it's permanently on there, and then if you flick the switch over it'll change to a momentary mode. Pardon me. So in momentary mode, just like a keyboard button, it'll work. So you can make it work with whatever kind of game you're running on to use that. Next we have the boost control. Again, it's just another simple lever. It too has a catch, but this one will work in both directions with the throttle lever. And you can again disengage it just like the prop lever by pushing that over. Then of course we have this rather nice fetching stop for the throttle that you can just move over. Yes, I do like to do all my videos in the dressing gown. It's usually because I'm doing them late at night. We have the tension control, which works. It will tension if I slacken it off completely. You'll see all the levers become completely loose. We do it up. And there you go. They become tight. One of the features I'm including with this one that I've built for someone is the adapter for the AK mount. That's piece slides in. It's got some screw holes, so you can always attach it to something. There is another one of these that you can get off the AK website that has various settings for a mount that goes on a pole, but I wanted one that you could just screw onto something for now. Go, slides in. There's an adapter on the back of this if you're not bolting it directly to some kind of setup. Nice hexagon bolts like you'd have originally, and I think that covers near enough everything. This, I mean, I've tried this in game. These all line up just as they should on a P-47. Of course, you fly other planes than the normal mixtures about there because it depends on how it was. But you can use that for all of them. One of the other things I like to do in IL2, as the P47 is the only plane that has a boost lever, is to set this also as an axis for engine 2. Then you can just link it with the other throttle and run both engines up and down at once, and if you need to shut one down you can just unlink it and pull it out the way. So you can use it as a dual throttle as well, which is one of the reasons I rather like this. Everything else is pretty much self-explanatory, but as I say, I will be getting back to making some videos once I've got the hall sensors changed and made sure the electrics are all working in it again. We'll get back to making some videos on assembling the other one I'm building, and yes, we'll be carrying on from there. I haven't covered how you calibrate it, but it's very simple in Windows. There are some fancier calibration programs you can get, but they don't really offer much advantage. Just like most of these things, you may have to set a tiny dead zone at the ends. You may want to add a little bit of smoothing to it in the game, but these are all in-game setup things. Just so you see, I've got all the axes to work the correct way in this. They probably won't in the games. They never do. I don't know why. They almost never do. You always have to end up reversing one of them for something. But that's life. Anyway, hopefully we'll get back on track. We'll get some more assembly videos made, and we'll be able to cover. We've got the box here, assembling this, which holds the electronics, wiring it up, wiring up the plug that goes in here. You see these are nice little aviation, they wouldn't ever use them in aviation, but they're aviation style plugs that unplug and then plug back in. They got a nice little screw lock on them. They look very in keeping, and we just have a gland on here so the wire can come in, and then you can put the wires in the various parts. The board I recommend using is one of these. Oh, you see, look, this camera's backwards to my own facing. These are very nice boards. If I have another one to show here for the other project, the other one that's being done. So they've all got little push terminals for all the buttons and axes. And these can also do rotary. You can use little programs with them to do rotary. What are they called? I've forgotten what they're called. Isn't that terrible? Rotary encoders. Encoders. That's what I was saying. You can use them for encoders. So if you're building a trim box, which will be one day, we will in the end, you're getting to the trim box for a P47, it'll probably be using encoders, so that'll be a thing. I'll give you a sneak preview of one of the other things we've been working on. Getting camera. This is very confusing having the camera backwards. It's very disorientating. So this is the to the drawings control stick, but designed so it can be printed in about 3 parts. I was only sanding this one because I thought I'd try and sand it and then maybe spray it. But the mechanics at the bottom are the parts which are causing interest at the moment. This was the old prototype. One of these I built, but I'm working on a new one. I'll show you the knurling. If you just hold on a sec, I'll see if I can just take the headphones off for a sec. So I've been working on the 3D file for this, and now I've made the knurling a lot larger because I found when I printed this one, it was years ago on an old printer, and it had a 0.3 nozzle, which gives you quite a bit of finer detail. Pardon me. I didn't want to get into changing the nozzle because I did say I wanted to make it so you could print everything off a standard printer. So inside you'd have parts to clip the your various little micro switches, same as you'd use in this. You know, so you got the trigger that will fit in here and various bits to hold the springs. Another little switch will go in here. There's a button cover for that. It has to be printed with support, as you can see on this one. This one actually has a mistake in the design, which is why I haven't bothered going any further with it. Oh, this one, when I made it finer, I got these horrible stringing problems, so I redid the knurling at a lot coarser. You have to give it a little bit of a sand, but it's come out. Will you focus on it? Can it focus on it? Not sure it can, but it's come out fairly nice, the knurling. I'm thinking so. Yeah, in the background we've been working on the control column. Oh, one of the features of it, if you notice there's these odd bottom parts, is that it's I'm trying to make it so it has a two-stage trigger. So when you'll pull it a little bit, it'll trigger one switch, and then when you pull it fully in, it won't go as far as that, because the other side limits it more. When you pull it fully in, it'll trigger the next one, so you can have the first one for machine guns and then the second one for cannons if you want. It just gives it a little bit more functionality than it would have as original, having a two-stage trigger. But that's something that's sort of in the pipeline, as it were. Yeah, all these files are in the Patreon, on the folder some Patreons have access to for these adapters. So they're all there. And yeah, we'll hopefully have some more content very soon, and be getting all up to speed, and I'm hoping to have some, at least we can have this. People will be asking, will this fit other joysticks? The answer to that will be, well, if they've got electrical connectors, that'll make it special ones, and that'll make that a bit difficult. So how are you going to electrically connect to it? That'll be your first issue. This basically just sits on a pole, like that metal pole, and then just has a hole drilled through and a bolt through it. So you could design up almost any sort of adapter to go on the bottom, but how you'll connect the switches in, I'm not entirely sure. It depends on what kind of connectors they've got. But I don't have any of these joysticks, so it makes it a bit difficult for me to just come up with things for them. But what else? Oh yes, people do keep asking me, can I... I've had quite a few message me asking, can I make them one of these? I did these specially projects for some people. And yeah, I really don't have the time to be making these en masse for people. I do this just as a hobby. It's just a little side hobby of mine, and yeah, it's taken me months and months to build this for people, which they've been very, very good and very patient about. It's not something I can commit to making lots for people. I might make a couple for some people next year, maybe, but more than that, yeah, I'm not planning. I was thinking of doing kits. I might still go into doing kits for it, but because I obviously don't need to put all the work into the kit, just have the hardware and the parts printed. But we'll see about that. We'll see how that goes. Things are all very unpredictable, let's say, at the moment in a lot of areas, so yeah. Anyway, it's hoping to have some more things to show you soon. Oh, and I'd just like to say a big thank you to all the Patreons who support this work, because it makes a big help. I can, because obviously I've gone through many iterations of things and testing things out, printing great big cases like this. I mean, that's a quarter reel of plastic This was one of the ones I was trying out for the joystick. It didn't really work out in the end, but that's a quarter reel of plastic in that. So especially with the stick and things, the parts are larger parts, you can easily get through a reel of plastic just trying out various things. So yeah, the Patreon really helps, as it lets me buy 1 or 2 reels of plastic, and then you can just print parts and test them out and do things, or a few nuts and bolts and things. And right now that's really helpful, because as I'm sure everyone is, it's not easy at the moment. So a big thank you to all the Patreons, and goodbye.